This week's story is called A Tree is Growing. You can find it on starting on pages 90 and 91 in your student book with the Read and Comprehend. Let's do this part together on page 90 and 91. Our target skill is text and graphic features. As you read A Tree is Growing, look for features that will help you understand the information. Text features such as labels, captions, and sidebars will give you more details about the main text. Graphic features, including pictures and diagrams, will show you what the text describes. You can use a chart like the one below to list the features that you find and their purposes. Here it has one column for text or graphic feature, has the page number, and then why. Why is that feature in the text? What is it adding? Our target strategy is question. As you read, ask yourself questions to make sure that you understand the information. Look for evidence in the words, sidebars, pictures, labels, and diagrams. Let's take a second together and preview the topic. Trees. Trees are a great natural resource. Apart from their beauty, trees provide shade and food. Trees protect people from windstorms and floods. People use the wood from trees to build houses and to make their homes warm, as well as to make useful things such as furniture, paper, and pencils. As a resource, trees are especially valuable because they are renewable. This means that new trees can be planted to replace the trees that people use. In A Tree is Growing, you will read about the science of how trees grow. You may find some fascinating facts. Turn the page. Our author for A Tree is Growing is Arthur Dorros, and our illustrator is S.D. Schindler. You can read more about them on page number 92. The genre of this text is an informational text. It gives you information about a topic. As you read, you're going to look for those photographs, captions, graphics, diagrams that help explain the topic, and you're also going to look at text structure, or the ways that ideas and information are organized. You can find our essential question on page 93. What are some differences among types of trees? Before reading, we need to make a prediction. To do that, I'm going to ask you to preview the text by looking through and looking at the illustrations and the headings, looking at the photographs and the captions. Then I'd like you to make a prediction about what the story is about. And then we'll set our purpose for reading. Please pause the video to preview the story. Now, if I were going to set the purpose, I know from previewing the selection that it contains labels, caption, pictures, and diagrams. My purpose for reading is going to be to find out what those text features and graphics are going to tell me about trees. What is your purpose for reading this text? Go ahead and read the text, keeping in mind the essential question. What are some differences among types of trees? The story starts on page 93 and ends on page 115. Please pause the video and come back when you're finished reading. Now that you've read this text, we are going to go back through and think through the text. Please make sure to pause the video and discuss or think about the questions with your learning adult. It's important to talk about your ideas. What is the relationship between a tree's leaves and its buds? Why are a tree's leaves important? What is the purpose of sap? The selection says that sap is carried throughout the tree, but it doesn't say how. So what makes the liquid move inside a tree? That's a question that you could write down and see if it's answered later in the selection. How do water and sap travel differently through a tree? How does water get to a tree's trunk? How do a tree's roots help it stay in place? How do mushrooms and trees help each other? How does a tree's bark change as the tree gets older? How is a tree's bark different on the outside and the inside? If a tree is not very big around, what do you know about its age? And how do you know this? Analyze the text. Text and graph features. How do the captions, labels, and diagrams help you understand the selection? This is where the graphic organizer at the beginning of the selection would be very, very helpful. Take a moment and discuss that with your learning adult. Why would a mark on a tree trunk stay at the same height during a tree's life? What is the connection between acorns and flowers? Why don't more oak trees grow from acorns? How might an acorn end up many miles away from the tree it fell from? What causes leaves to lose their green color? What does the author use of the word then tell you about when leaves turn different colors? Reread the first sentence on page 99. What is one need trees have that they usually get less of in the winter? Now that you have just read A Tree is Growing, the informational text, on page number 116 in your student book, let's dig deeper. Informational text, such as A Tree is Growing, gives facts and details about a topic. Besides the main text, readers can find information in other ways. Sidebars are a text feature next to the main text. A sidebar gives more details about a part of the main text and may also have pictures. Graphic features include pictures and diagrams that help to explain the main text. Labels identify parts of pictures and diagrams or show how something works. Look back at page 96 in A Tree is Growing. Here, labeled pictures show different kinds of leaves. On page 99, a diagram shows how water travels up a tree. Use a chart, like the one below, to help you identify each feature and its purpose. This column chart includes columns to list text and graphic features, the pages they appear on, and their purpose. On page 96, I can see labels next to the different kinds of trees. The purpose of the labels is to let me know the types of trees these leaves come from. A tree is growing provides scientific information about how trees grow. The selection includes special words that are a part of the domain or subject of science. Use context clues to figure out what a science word means. In the sidebar on page 104 is the word cambium. The text on page 105 says that cambium is a layer of growing bark. The text also explains the words xylem and phloem. You will be rereading the story A Tree is Growing later in the week. Turn in your student book to pages 118 and 119 and have a conversation with your learning adult. You are going to write about what you just wrote. Think about what you learned in A Tree is Growing. How do you feel about trees now? Use text evidence and your own ideas to write a poem about trees. Share your poem by reading it to a partner. Don't forget to read through the writing tip about descriptive words.